8 years ago, I installed this LR Baggs M80 into this R Taylor Style 1. The two questions on everybody's lips: how much do I like donuts? Quite a bit. And should you buy an LR Baggs M80 magnetic pickup for your acoustic guitar? Well, obviously that depends on a few things, which equally obviously is what this video is all about. I recorded my own piece of music, Waiting for Dawn, using this guitar and this pickup literally a few weeks ago. You probably can't tell by the weather, but the sound from that video is a mix from the sound from the M80 and the ambient sound from the camera I used. So please take 2 minutes out of your day to listen to what I hope you will find to be a beautiful piece of music. Like all good guitar lessons, this is about what's best for you and your music, and not about me. And as I am a professional teacher and musician, I'm interested in people learning first and foremost, and not just in reviewing equipment. So I'm going to go off on all sorts of tangents in the name of education, and that's because I believe there is so much good learning that happens in these tangents, and connecting seemingly different ideas makes it easier to remember things and master a subject. For anyone that doesn't like that style of review video, there are timestamps in the description so you can skip bits and jump around. Or just jump to my conclusions if you're in a hurry and you only want to know specifically the best and worst things about the LR Baggs M80. Let's start with the reasons why this pickup might not be a suitable choice for you, so I can end this video positively with all the reasons why the M80 would be a good pickup for you. The main reason why this pickup wouldn't be the best choice for you is simply if you don't like the type of pickup that it is. Anyone buying a pickup for their acoustic guitar needs to be aware that there are three main types of pickup: microphone-based pickups, piezo-based pickups, or piezo depending on where your accent comes from, and magnetic-based pickups. If you didn't know that, then I suggest you watch my videos which explain the differences between these three types of pickup, because the type of pickup is the most important factor when choosing the best pickup for your needs. The LR Baggs M80 is a magnetic pickup, and even on the LR Baggs website, on their page dedicated to the M80, one of the first things they say is that magnetic pickups can sound dry and electric. And even though LR Baggs have done some really cool modifications to this type of pickup, which I will explain later, a magnetic pickup still, in my opinion, makes your acoustic guitar sound a bit like an electric guitar. And if I wanted that, I'd use a donut or an electric guitar. For those of you who don't know how electric guitar pickups work, they use a magnet wrapped inside a wire, which is then all encapsulated traditionally in wax, although other materials such as epoxy are also used. This process is called potting for anyone that wants to research that further themselves. When the guitar string moves above this magnet wrapped in wire, it induces a current. That is to say, it creates electricity in the coil of wire which is wrapped around the magnet, which is then fed to your amplifier to reproduce the sound of your guitar, but at a louder volume. This is basically how electricity is generated in power stations, and hence, for example, the name of the pickup company EMG is electromagnetic generator. An electric guitar pickup is a generator. I do like a good tangent. This technology is fantastic for electric guitars because it is more resistant to feedback than other methods of picking up the sound of your guitar, such as using a microphone or a piezo. This means we can turn our amplifiers up louder in order to be heard when playing guitar along with a band before feedback starts to be a problem. And with an electric guitar, we don't care so much about how the body of the instrument sounds or how acoustically active the neck joint is, for example. But what this means for an acoustic guitar is that using a magnetic pickup produces a sound that isn't as natural sounding as the sound of our acoustic guitar when we send this type of pickup signal to an amplifier. This is because the signal sent to our amplifier is created from the movement of the metal strings above the magnetic field of the pickup. The air moved by the body of the guitar doesn't really feature in the sound. Obviously, everything features to some extent in the sound fed to the amplifier via a magnetic pickup, because if it didn't, then all electric guitars with the same pickups would sound the same. And you could just buy a cheap electric guitar and then fit expensive pickups to it, and it would sound the same as an expensive guitar. That simply isn't the case, and all electric guitars clearly sound different. But this type of pickup simply isn't optimum for an acoustic guitar if what you want is to have your guitar sound the same as it does acoustically, only louder, when playing through an amplifier. Because this type of pickup doesn't hear, so to speak, the air moved by the body of the guitar or the density and shape of the wood, the bracing, and so on. All pickups add what we call coloration, or a change in the sound, to your guitar. The question is simply, what type of pickup is best for your situation, and what's best for your musical needs. If you need a pickup you can fit yourself that is relatively feedback resistant and makes your acoustic guitar sound a little bit more like an electric guitar, which is a good thing in some circumstances, then a magnetic pickup could very well be a great choice for you. In connection with the type of pickup the M80 is, the second reason it might not be a suitable choice for you is that the pickup physically gets in the way a bit. I have easily above average control of my picking hand, having a degree in classical guitar performance from one of the best places on the planet to study, and having played guitar now for over 24 years, but every now and then I end up tapping the casing of the pickup when I'm picking above the sound hole to give myself a warmer tone from the strings. The sound of tapping the pickup ruins recordings and is annoying live. The other two pickup designs, microphones and piezos, don't need to be in the way because they physically aren't fitted across the sound hole in the same way a magnetic pickup is. If you never move your hand near the sound hole, then clearly this isn't a problem, but as a teacher and a musician, I would urge you to experiment with playing at different positions on the strings to get as much variety of sound and art out of your guitar as possible. Next on the cons list is that the pickup negatively affects the acoustic sound of the guitar when it's not being played through an amplifier in two ways. Firstly, having a magnet permanently under the strings dampens the sustain of the instrument. And secondly, the physical nature of the pickup restricts the movement of the soundboard of the guitar because it's like screwing a bar across the sound hole. If that improved the sound in any way, then guitar makers would fit a bar across the sound hole of their guitars when they made them. Sadly, I can't find an upside to either of those points. If you can, then please write in the comments. Anyone from LL Bags perhaps has one. Please do comment if you do. But again, those two problems aren't such an issue with microphones or piezos. And the final thing that might mean this pickup is not the best choice for you is the price. Now this is last on my list because if you're putting this into a €2,500 guitar, then saving €100 on the pickup shouldn't really matter. But at over double the price of other pickups like the K&K Pure Mini Piezo, and even roughly €80 more than LL Bag's own M1 active magnetic pickup, the LL Bag's M80 is overpriced in my opinion. However, the M80 is active. That means it has what is called a preamp built into it, whereas the K&K Pure Mini, for example, is passive, and that means it's just a pickup with no electronics to boost the signal. But for the price of the M80, you could either buy an LL Bag's M1 active, which has a preamp, hence the name active, or you could buy K&K's Pure Mini with a separate preamp and still have change for more donuts than I could comfortably eat in one sitting. Also, the output from the K&K Pure Mini specifically is so high even without a preamp that I've never needed to use one with it anyway. Please note, the Pure Mini is a completely different type of pickup, so it's not comparing apples to apples. But you are most likely only going to put one pickup in your guitar, so I think it's fair to compare any acoustic guitar pickup with the M80. All that said, cost and the law of diminishing returns means that if you want a magnetic pickup and you want the best, then you have to pay a disproportionate amount more for a small improvement in the quality of the product. And the M80 could well be the best magnetic pickup that exists, which then completely justifies the increase in the price of the pickup compared to the other options. Let's leave all the negatives behind and move on to the good things about the LL Bag's M80 and why it could be the best fit for your needs. Now, one of the big selling points, possibly the biggest in fact, is that LL Bag's has revolutionized the technology behind magnetic pickups. They've mounted the coils in a suspension which gives the pickup a microphonic component to its pickup response. What that mouthful means is that they have made the M80, and the M1 for that matter, in a way that makes them act like both a magnetic pickup and a microphone at the same time, which results in a more natural sound than normal magnetic pickups can deliver. How this works is to do with the coils. As I said earlier, this type of pickup uses a coil of wire wrapped around a magnet, and if you use two coils and two magnets in the same pickup housing, then you have what is called a humbucker pickup, rather than a single coil pickup. A single coil pickup has one magnet and one coil of wire, hence single coil. A humbucker uses the addition of a second coil to reduce hum or buzz within the signal of the pickup that it sends to your amplifier. The hum is created from electrical interference from things like your lights and other electronic devices, and is a problem with single coil pickups. Using two coils and wiring them in a different polarity removes or bucks the hum. That is to say, when you have two magnets with two coils of wire, you can wire them in a way that removes the sound that you hear through your amplifier when using a single coil magnetic pickup. Tangent, but that's not the revolutionary part. You've been able to buy single coil and humbucker pickups for decades. But what LL Bags have done, which is pretty cool with the M80, is they have mounted the two coils in a way that allows them to move. This means the pickup responds not only like a magnetic pickup, but also like a microphone, because changes in the air pressure, which is what sound is, causes the coils of the pickup to move and respond to acoustic sounds, and not just to the movement of the metal strings above the magnets of the pickup. What all that means is that the M80 definitely sounds more natural than almost any other magnetic pickup on the market. And that if you want to hit the body of your guitar to create percussive effects whilst playing, then these sounds will be sent to your amplifier, which is vital for any kind of music that needs this. Whereas a normal magnetic pickup won't amplify the sounds of you hitting the guitar body and won't sound as natural in an acoustic guitar, because they only pick up the movement of the metal strings and not the movement of the guitar body in the way that the M80 and the M1 do. For those of you that need a more natural microphone-like sound, then we need to compare the M80 to the use of a regular instrument microphone on a mic stand, or a microphone type pickup mounted on the guitar like the AER DPA, or a piezo pickup such as the K&K Pure Mini, or LR Bag's Element piezo pickup, as all of those options will do what the M80 claims is revolutionary. It is revolutionary for a magnetic pickup, but not for pickups in general. But if you prefer a magnetic pickup for whatever reason, then the M80 is better than the rest because of this microphone-like characteristic. One of the advantages of the M80 over an instrument microphone on a mic stand is definitely the portability, as the M80, once fitted, doesn't require that you carry any extra equipment or stands. So if you travel a lot to perform, and that could just be regularly having to walk with your guitar to wherever you practice, the M80 will save you carrying extra equipment. And stands are relatively large and heavy if you're walking around with your guitar a lot or traveling by bike. Another benefit of the M80 compared to a mic on a mic stand is the freedom to move. Obviously, if you're using a mic on a stand, you are fairly limited to how much you can move around on stage, or even to just enjoy moving around and get into the spirit of things during rehearsals. And the third benefit of an M80 over using a mic on a stand, a mic-based pickup, or a piezo, is that a magnetic pickup, like the M80, is more feedback resistant than the other options. The next best thing about this pickup is it's easy to install. If you can use a drill and a screwdriver, then you can install this yourself. If you install this, then definitely invest in one of these, a step drill bit, because they are awesome. Be aware that some guitars, like my R. Taylor, come pre-drilled, and even though they have a strap button fitted, when you remove the strap button, you might be surprised to find there is already a beautifully drilled hole ready for a pickup end pin to be installed. So confirm that before buying unnecessary drill bits. You can also install this pickup temporarily without drilling a hole, and then the cable just comes out of the front. But I can't really see why you would. You could just put a good instrument mic in front of your guitar in almost any situation where you might install this pickup temporarily. If you wanted to test it maybe, or again if you wanted to jump around on stage. Someone from LR Bags, or anyone for that matter, please feel free to leave a comment as to who is installing this pickup temporarily and in what situations it is a useful feature. Either way, the M80 is no doubt far easier to install than almost any other type of pickup. A piezo like the K&K Pure Mini I keep hammering on about really needs gluing in permanently. And an undersaddle piezo, piezo, as you like, requires that you permanently modify the saddle of your guitar. There are other things like an AER DPA clip-on microphone for acoustic guitar that doesn't need anything doing permanently to the guitar. So I'd also have a look at those, but if you find the M80 expensive, then forget the AER DPA, because they're really expensive. But I do like AER products in general, and they are definitely worth checking out. As I stated earlier, feedback resistance is considered one of the places where a magnetic pickup is better than both microphone and piezo-based pickups. But to be honest, I've never had a problem live with other systems that couldn't be fixed. If you play acoustic guitar with a band that really likes to play loudly, or a drummer that really likes to hammer away, then a magnetic pickup might be the best choice for you. And then it might even be better to buy a magnetic pickup that doesn't have the microphone-like response of the M80. Something like a Fishman Rare Earth should be about as feedback resistant as it gets. Also, if you like to use effects like distortion with your acoustic guitar, and there are situations where that is really useful, like playing in show bands where you need both acoustic and distorted electric sounds, and you don't want to or don't have time to change guitar, then a magnetic pickup definitely could be a good choice for you, as using high gain distortion with an acoustic guitar is an area where feedback can really be a serious issue. The preamp in the M80 is simple to use and gives a good signal, the battery test lights are good, and the battery lasts an insanely long time. But you do have to remove the pickup to change the battery, which is a pain, compared to the K&K, which doesn't even need a battery, and other preamps where the battery change compartment is easier to access. This comes back to ease of installation, however. If you want or need a preamp but don't want to carry an external preamp with you, and you really don't want to cut a relatively large hole in your guitar, then the M80 with its built-in preamp makes a ton of sense. And I don't think a better solution exists for a complete unit that is so easy to install and has a built-in preamp. Maybe something like the LR Baggs Element Active pickup, where the preamp is built into the end pin, would be another good solution that comes to mind. But as I said, the battery lasts a crazy long time, so it's really rare that you need to take the pickup out to change the battery, and if you do it when you're changing the strings, then that doesn't really add much hassle at all. So, to sum up the pros and cons of the LR Baggs M80, the LR Baggs M80 is a magnetic pickup, and in my opinion, simply doesn't give as natural a sound as either a microphone or piezo-based pickup, if what you want is that your guitar sounds the same through an amplifier as it does acoustically. But they have created the best magnetic pickup if a magnetic pickup is what you are looking for. And especially if you want a magnetic pickup that will be able to amplify the sound of you hitting the body of your guitar for drum-like effects. The pickup gets in the way slightly when playing, but that isn't a deal breaker because it is obviously possible to get used to it. The pickup physically affects the unamplified sound of the guitar negatively, but that said, in a blind test, how many people could tell? I'm going to say not many. And in my opinion, if a guitar costs, say, under €1,000, then this isn't as big of a problem as if your guitar costs over €1,000. The reason I believe this is because when you spend over €1,000 for an acoustic guitar, the law of diminishing returns kicks in, and you are paying a lot more money only to make the guitar sound subjectively 5% better than an €800 guitar. The reason this is important is because if your guitar costs, say, €2,000 plus, you really care about small improvements in sound, and you are paying a lot for those small improvements. So in my opinion, this pickup's tiny negative impact on the sound as a result of how it is fitted to the guitar and the effect of the magnets on dampening the sustain of the strings actually will matter to you. The pickup is expensive, but again, it is possibly the best magnetic pickup there is, and it's active, so you don't need to buy an extra preamp. LR Baggs also do two cheaper magnetic pickups, that is the M1 Passive and the M1 Active. I have a passive M1, which I got cheap secondhand. If I was buying new, wanted a magnetic pickup and wanted to hear the body of my guitar through my amp, and the guitar costs, say, over €500, then I very possibly would spend the extra on the M80. And if the guitar cost over €1,000, then I would definitely pick the M80 over the M1 if choosing between the two. But those numbers are, like this entire video, just my opinion. Professional opinion, but still, just an opinion. If you already have an external preamp and wanted a magnetic pickup, then I'd get the M1 Passive, or if you want the best, the M80 actually has a button to switch off the internal preamp, so you can use it passively. This is a great feature if you have a favorite preamp that you already use and really like and want to bypass the M80's preamp. Hopefully I've said this clearly already, but just to be sure, the M1 also has the microphone-like characteristics of the M80. I like K&K's Pure Mini a lot. I have one in the small travel guitar I have, and I have the ukulele version, the Ahola, in my Martin TK1 uke that I use with 3 in the Dark. So I would definitely check out those pickups. I'll do a review specifically on the K&K Pure Mini soon, so keep an eye out for that. But as I said at the start of this video, it's about you and your music, and not about me. Go and check out some other reviews of the M80 and LR Baggs' other products. Also check out K&K and AER. Sadly, no one pays me to say any of this, and if they did, I would still just give you my honest professional opinion. I hope you've learned some extra things as a result of my tangents. Remember, everything is just what I think, and I'm giving out general advice. You need to make the right decision for you. For anyone wanting specific advice, then book me for an online guitar lesson via my website, soundvision.com. Have a great day, and remember, there are only 12 notes. I'm Pete Cook. The M80 improves on this technology with a lower frequency with a lower frequency response.